Emilio Vellis, Executive Director of the Apropedia Foundation, because I'm sure he will have a lot of things to share about documenting and sharing.
Yes. Hi, I will turn off my video because my connection is not that good.
Don't worry.
Yes. Oh, thanks so much. I am part of Apropedia, and we are a wiki that focuses on sustainable development and appropriate technology. And the concept of appropriate technology is quite old, and it basically refers to all types of technology that can connect in a way with a community in sense of economic development, of industrial development. So to put it in short, how can we make technology work in different places? And how can we have more effective transfer technology that does not overwhelm people in a community? So I love the projects. I've been reading about them since last night to get prepared for this, and I really enjoyed looking at them. And I think this is what it's needed, to know that makers have proven themselves by doing what industry could not do. And that is my first point. I think we're on, on this situation where makers have proven that some things are possible before we can even start thinking about whether it is possible. And so to bring some perspective on my work, because my focus is on social development, I want to bring three things. The first one is that makers are going faster than the rest of the world. And that does not include only industry, but also the people who will be using the devices that are being created. So one advice or one idea that I want to bring to the table is how we transfer this knowledge that makers have created to the users, to the end users, whether it's doctors, whether it's the communities in different areas, doctors in rural areas. So documentation of the hardware itself is important, but also the know-how. How do we operate things, assemble them, fix them, do maintenance, and that is part of the work that has to be done, that is not as interesting sometimes, but I believe that it is very important as the device itself. And that brings to the second one, that is that will things work if we are not available? And I think there are two types of devices or platforms or creations. One is very simple and people understand because it is connected to other types of technology that already exists, or yeah, the design is so simple that it is easy for you to understand at first what it does and how to use it. But sometimes you need more specialized knowledge, and that requires a guidance. And our goal as makers and as designers for the social good is to make something that even if we're not involved in the project anymore, things will continue forward. So that is the second one. And the third one is that how can we work better with industry? I believe that in a way we are working with industry. For all the projects that are 3D printed, for example, we are reliant on how much filament we have stored, right? And how much filament we can get after this depends on how can we bring it from China or from some other places. So we have a head start, and we have to start thinking about sustainability. How can we sustain this if the pandemic stays for longer? So that is some point. The other is how can we work better with industry, and how can we make a push for industry to start taking the designs and making them en masse, and lead makers more space to create and design, because I think that is what we have proven that makers can do, and not overwhelm people with making 300,000 of something, right? So those would be my ideas, and yeah, congratulations to everybody. And I'm looking forward to hear more. And if it is something related to sustainable development, I would be more than happy to help you out as well and to participate as well.
Well, thank you very much, Emilio. Your ideas, we completely agree with them, or at least I do personally. And I have one question for you. So things are going to change in the upcoming months, and the open source community has showed that we can do a lot and very fast, and we can change and adapt better than traditional industries. So how do you think the open source movement will evolve, knowing how important it has been during the last 2 months? What's your opinion there?
Okay, can you repeat the last part of the question that I lost?
Yeah. So how do you think the open source movement will evolve, knowing how important it has been lately?
Yes. Oh, I think it is becoming mainstream. Mainstream for all the people who are reading on the news about new devices that are coming up. And I think there will be a bigger reliance on our work to solve any problems. I believe that for the past few years, it has been a thing of, look, somebody out there has created this project that can solve whatever. We can solve pollution, we can clean the air, we can clean the water, we can provide clean water to 1 million people. And I think that it is good, but also we've, for the sake of getting more and more money for funding, because that is the way that the game plays. You know, we are playing that game when we are creating projects. We're pressed to deliver more and more and more. And I loved the fact that in this pandemic, we have seen ourselves in front of a wall that we have to climb, which is to prove that our solutions are really what we are aiming to do. And that will have, I believe that the open source community will have to evolve to be responsible with the power that we now have. And that requires to have better projects, to collaborate more, to validate more. And that is beautiful. You know, that means that the projects that we will be developing and proposing and validating will require more and more work and more types of knowledge. So we will need to have doctors on our teams. And I think we will evolve in collaborating more and more with people from the medical field, people who know about social development as well. So from the social sciences, from, so there's different areas that will have to become open source, as science has done more and more during these past 2 months.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And